I'll get into all the damaging nonsense between Donald Trump and Malcolm Turnbull in a moment, but let me start with the big picture that really matters. The tariff wars are already unsettling the global economy, and the uncertainty of Trump 2.0 is already being marked down big time by one of the president's favourite measures, the stock market. Investors are nervous about trade wars sparking price increases, cranking up inflation and ultimately plunging the US into recession. Wall Street had its biggest drop for about 6 months yesterday, with the S&P 500 now almost 9% down on its peak from last month.
We begin tonight with the stock market plunging after President Trump said he would not rule out the possibility of a recession. The uncertainty rattling investors, rattling Americans from Wall Street to Main Street, already on edge over the president's on-again, off-again tariffs with Mexico, Canada and China, with other countries on his tariff list beginning April 2nd. Today, the Dow plunging nearly 900 points, down more than 2% today. The Dow now down 4% since President Trump was elected. The tech-heavy NASDAQ index falling 4% just today, its worst one-day plunge in nearly 3 years now, losing about $1 trillion in value. The president has said we're in a period of transition and that it, quote, takes a little time.
The nervousness spread around the world and across the Pacific to Australia, where our markets are especially worried about our sluggish economy, debt-laden federal budget, high government spending, high taxes, high energy costs and a re-regulated labour market to the picture. If you add that in, and the looming election spend-a-thon, of course, and the prospects of sustainable economic growth here look bleak. Our stock market dropped more than a percentage point today before rallying up a bit and finishing down 0.9%, but more than 6% down on last month. All eyes will be on Wall Street tonight, where the latest futures markets are pretty flat. There are many factors at play, but the biggest is Donald Trump's aggressive imposition of tariffs. We all thought the economic argument between protectionists and free traders was won by the free traders, as the great Ronald Reagan explained decades ago.
You see, at first, when someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. What eventually occurs is, first, homegrown industries start relying on government protection in the form of high tariffs. They stop competing and stop making the innovative management and technological changes they need to succeed in world markets. And then, while all this is going on, something even worse occurs. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars.
But Reagan conservatism seems a thing of the past in 2025, with Trump slapping tariffs on friends and foes alike. Steel and aluminium tariffs come to force this week, and Australia is yet to win an exemption. And as I showed you last night, Turnbull couldn't help playing himself into the issue, claiming that Trump was playing into China's hands.
Trump does not subscribe to the same values that we have in the past shared with America. He doesn't have a commitment to the international rule of law, that's obvious. Doesn't care about treaties or alliances. You know, he's got a free trade agreement with Canada and Mexico, which he entered into, by the way. He signed it. Then he's just walked away from that.
And of course, the US president hit back, telling the world that Turnbull led his wonderful country from behind, that he never understood China, and that he was a weak and ineffective leader. Turnbull couldn't let that slide. He was quickly out again on his preferred media platform, the ABC, sticking it to Trump again.
I do not believe you should give in to bullies, right? Now, what Trump wants people to suck up to him and to be sycophantic. And I have dealt with Trump in the past. I mean, you know, the fact is, I stood up to Trump and got him to do things he didn't want to do because I wasn't being bullied by him. Well, most of the people, pretty much all the people I've seen, international leaders, that have sucked up to Trump and been sycophants have been run over.
The trouble here is that while these two gigantic egos trade barbs, the real issue of steel tariffs and our exemption lies in the balance. And have a listen to the indignation from Turnbull when even the ABC gently suggested it might have been best for him to stay stumm just for now.
Is it easier and better for Australia in this acute moment when the tariff decision is obviously being made if diplomacists are given the maximum opportunity to operate behind closed doors without your intervention?
I never thought I'd have to defend free speech here on the 7:30 report, and I'm glad you're a little bit embarrassed raising that with me, aren't you?
Sally, is this where we've got? That we've become, or, has the ABC become so pusillanimous that you're seriously suggesting that we shouldn't be free to speak the truth in Australia for fear of Donald Trump? Is that the depths you've sunk to?
Well, it's interesting providing commentary about the ABC, but this interview is about
you are from the ABC, and I got the same line from Sarah Ferguson last night. I think it really troubles me. I believe in the ABC. I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in Australia, and I believe in standing up for Australia. Okay. And I think, I'm sorry, apparently you don't.
Oh dear, what was that about bullying? Look, I once worked for Malcolm Turnbull, so I know him well. This is all about him. It won't help Australia one iota. Another crucial person on this issue is Kevin Rudd, our ambassador in the US, another bloke I've seen up close and personal. Somehow he's supposed to win this tariff concession from Donald Trump. In fact, Turnbull and Rudd, once political enemies, are so similar, we once made a documentary here based on their similarities. Bitter enemies and aggressive rivals. For Kevin Rudd and Malcolm Turnbull, it was kill or be killed. Yet now, if not comrades in arms, they're the most unlikely of frenemies. How has this happened and why? Over 6 decades, Rudd and Turnbull's lives share uncanny similarities. Two driven, talented men, two egos, two prime ministers. Men in the mirror. So, just think about this for a moment. At a really precarious time for the global economy and at a time of great strategic risk, Australia's relationship with our greatest security ally and economic partner is in the hands of these two former Prime Ministers. Turnbull because he insists on sticking his nose in it, and Rudd because Anthony Albanese was silly enough to send him to Washington. Clearly, our national political debate would always be better off without the bitterness and score settling we've seen over the years from both of them. And we'd all be best served if both of them parked their egos now, parked them aside and focused on the national interest. You know, the way they all reckon that Donald Trump should do.